Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.
Pollution is a major problem in many urban cities and rural settlements in the world. Certain aspects of our lifestyles are responsible for this, from high concentration of vehicles, industrial pollution, burning of trees to making fire, single plastic use pollution, noise pollution, solid waste, among other things. Now, all these activities happening simultaneously in a small, densely populated state like Lagos is causing respiratory problems and other illnesses among its people. In a report, according to the World Bank, it estimated that an average of 30,000 people die every year in Lagos due to pollution. It was also reported that children under 5 years are the most affected, accounting for nearly 60% of total deaths, while others suffered from heart disease, lung cancer, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. This grave negative effect therefore calls for an urgent attention to restructure our lifestyles to more climate-friendly options. And this is where the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, comes in. My name is Lucy Ulugbe. I welcome you to another episode of Greater Lagos. The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, was established in 1996 as the environmental regulatory body for the state. Since its creation, the agency has provided environment-friendly solutions to the various environmental challenges Lagos is facing, and continuously assisting homes, public and private organizations, industries, businesses, and non-governmental organizations comply with global warming precautions. Our guest on this week's episode of Greater Lagos is the General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, to discuss environmental laws and all the innovative policies in place to make Lagos pollution-free. Don't go anywhere. Greater Lagos continues after this break.
Greater Lagos. Greater Lagos.
The General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Greater Lagos.
Thank you, and I'm very excited to be here.
Okay, so one of the primary objectives of LASEPA is safeguarding environmental quality that is consistent to the social needs of Lagosians. What are the modalities that are in place to help achieve this?
Okay, I'm happy that you said social needs, because when we keep talking global warming, climate change, we have to adopt it and adapt it to our social, cultural, and demographic situation. Now, this agency, as Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, we focus on things that are peculiar to Lagos. For example, Lagos is a coastal city. There are many developments around the coast. We take advocacy to them. We preach pollution control. We do projects and programs that are sustainable. We kind of explain global warming and climate change in a way that the regular person will understand. And our major thrust is to protect the environment of Lagos State, which is the land, the water, and the air. We have a clean air project. We have Stop Plastic Pollution project, and we have indiscriminate dumping of refuse. We advocate against it. On this, we work with our partner agency, Lagos State Waste Management Agency, because honestly, if we're managing our waste well, the matter of pollution will be 40 to 50% reduced, but also we regulate the industries, the manufacturers, those ones that discharge their trade wastes, effluents we call them, into the water bodies or their exhaust into the air. We regulate that, we measure, and we make sure they stick with the stipulated measurements for Lagos State.
So you mentioned a whole lot: global warming, climate change, and then some of your projects. I understand you have one that is tagged Lagos Trash for Cash. I want you to shed more light on that.
So Trash for Cash, its major objective is mopping up plastics off the road, reducing the amount of plastics that go to our dump sites, and helping people understand the value and the meaning of recycling. So what we do for Trash for Cash, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, has been magnanimous enough to approve that we give cash for plastic waste. Why do we see plastics on the streets after rain? Why do we see plastics everywhere? Because the second-hand value is very low. A full nylon bag, dustbin bag of second-hand plastic, used plastic, is probably 40 naira. So you have 10, that's 400. The recycler is in Agege. Your 400 is in Ikeja. Your transport money exceeds what you get. So we decided to fill in that value chain. We put a premium on the amount of plastics. We go into communities, educate them, give them these bags, and tell them we're coming on a certain day. We will buy these plastics from you. And we tell them why. These plastics are non-biodegradable. Every single plastic ever made is still hanging in the air somewhere. And that is what is causing, part of what is causing increased temperature of the world. That is part of what is causing blocked drains, because water cannot penetrate. So we have flash floods, and then we start to have rising water levels. So we teach them that, and we now say these plastics can earn you money. So instead of 40 naira, we pay 100 naira. But we take it to your community, you're just walking distance. And we leave a recycler behind who would buy it for 40 naira eventually to make the project sustainable. But we want to change people's mindsets that these things, is cash. And what we say here in La Cepa is everybody's waste is somebody else's raw material, and that takes us to circular economy, and that's just a pure fact. All those plastic bottles, recyclers turn them into pellets, send them abroad, export them, and bring them back as chairs like you and I are sitting on. Why can't we start to develop that industry in Nigeria? And that is what Mr. Sanwo-Olu has charged us with. We should put recycling, reuse, and manufacturing from waste into people's mindsets. And the only way we can do this is not by enforcement, it's by advocacy and communication.
Now, still on pollution, there are two major challenge that we have, and that's air pollution and then noise pollution, which there's been so much awareness about. What is the effect of noise pollution on the environment, and how are you tackling these challenges?
Okay, the truth is that air pollution is something that affects both living and non-living things. The environment, the air, is the only thing we all have and share in common. Noise pollution is a killer. Noise pollution, I'll start from infancy or even from when in the womb. Well, I'm the general manager of Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, but I also happen to be a medical doctor. Noise can cause sudden abortion. It can cause premature labor. It can cause a heart attack. Children who grew up in a noisy environment have been known to have lower IQ from published studies. Direct effect of continuous exposure to noise is deafness. We have many people to show for that. And then think of the importance of sleep to our health. Noise pollution, the major complaints we get from here is people not being able to sleep from noise pollution. And the importance of sleep to our health cannot be undermined. I keep saying the quality of your environment is directly proportional to the quality of your health. Now, lack of sleep will cause high blood pressure. Lack of sleep can cause stress. It can cause anxiety disorders. Even noise pollution has been known to cause mental illness for people who are exposed to it. And apart from all of that, there's a ricochet effect. The boss that doesn't sleep all night takes it out on his driver. The driver takes it out on his wife. And then we go on the road, there's still more noise. Medically, scientifically, it is dangerous. Psychologically also, it is dangerous. With noise pollution in Lagos State, LASEPA has zero tolerance. We are not advocating. We have done enough of advocacy. We enforce now. And most of the people we have to deal with are, unfortunately, religious houses of different religions, entertainment houses, clubs, hangouts, discos. Whilst we're not trying to kill urbanization or to kill nightlife, it can be done in a regulated way. And I am happy that we've achieved some success in that in this agency.
Greater Lagos.
It's nice to still have you on the program. We have the Echo Daily and Mega Citizen segment of the show coming up next. Stay with us.
There are quite numbers of things I do, but those ones I can pinpoint now are if I get stuffs and I need to dispose them, I look for the nearest bin and I put it into the waste bin. So there's no need for me putting it on the floor. If I should put it on the floor and the rest of the people are putting it on the floor, then there will be environmental pollution. So that is one of the ways I try to curtail environmental pollution by disposing all of my waste into the bin. So the other one is, okay, whenever I'm at home and my waste bin is full, I try to get a bin bag and dispose my waste into the bin bag and tie it, then wait for the Loma guys to come over, then dispose it properly.
Excess water, I don't allow excess water. So number two, I reduce the environmental pollution through packing of my rubbish to a Loma. Those are the organizations that Lagos State government have placed down for us to be using to submit instead of causing the pollution, burning of things, or just dump your rubbish anyhow. No, just give it to the Loma so that they will allow the environment to be more clean and we will have a very conducive environment. And likewise, using of charcoal, I stopped using charcoal or whatever it is. Rather, I would rather make use of gas cooking, and I don't allow burning of things in the house.
Greater Lagos.
Did you know, in October of 2022, the Lagos State government launched the first government-owned ISO-certified laboratory The International Organization of Standardization's accreditation was given to the state for Quality Management System ISO IEC 9001 and Laboratory Management System ISO IEC 17025, in line with the best practices obtainable worldwide. The laboratory was launched under the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency and is in line with the current administration's priority on environmental management and pollution control. The lab currently offers services such as portable water laboratory, wastewater laboratory, air and noise laboratory. Others are toxicology laboratory, land and soil laboratory, microbiology and heavy metal laboratory. So far, the standard of the lab has attracted government agencies like NAFDAC, consultants from the oil and gas sector, and other individuals. However, not a lot of Lagosians know the facility is open to all. Yes, all Lagosians. So why don't you make use of this facility? You can take your samples to this laboratory to check, measure, and analyze the amount of toxins or harmful substance in your pipeborne water, land, soil, air, or even water waste. And though you can't put a price on health, as the risks always outweighs the cost, the Lagos State government has made the lab available to the general public at a subsidized rate. Mandate of safeguarding the environmental quality of the state's land, air, and water resources. That's all on Eco Daily today. See you again next week.
Greater Lagos.
Okay, so talking about the enforcement, and this is the season of celebration where people tend to make a lot of noise. How are you managing this?
Okay, so the truth of the matter is that there has to be a balance to everything. The law is the law. However, the law did not apply when we had Corona. Any responsible government would move with the situation. So what we do during Christmas is we meet with this group of people. We also meet with landlords associations and say it's a festive period. There's a difference between noise and sound. Now, sound can be loud. Noise is when it becomes irritating, persistent, annoying, and of bad quality. So if we have good sound engineering, we have loud sound, but it's not necessarily noise. And enforcement this time is, we go to all those people. What you're entitled to is sound, not noise. But because it's Yuletide season, imagine I'm in my house at night, there's firecrackers going on everywhere. It's noise pollution. But it's not reasonable to start driving around looking for who is throwing firecrackers. So of course during Christmas, we kind of negotiate with both sides and say be reasonable. Because it's Christmas does not mean your neighbor must not sleep. However, your neighbor also must realize that there will be increased activities. And I'm using this opportunity to tell the general public that there's something called a sound permit. You can obtain it 4 times in a year. This sound permit is time bound. It is decibels bound. I will tell you, you can increase your decibels up to 3 a.m. Your sound, not noise. It's not a permission to make noise. But also the onus is on me to let the people in your environment know that an activity is happening here. We have seen where people have said, oh, I'm going to sleep in a hotel. We have seen cases where club owner has gone to soundproof neighbor's window. I mean, there are all sorts of compromises, but we try to be, or to be equitable on both the business and the complainants. However, noise pollution is still noise pollution, and strong enforcement will be happening this Christmas if you exceed reasonable limits. We have noise decibel limits. It is graded into day and night. It is also further divided into residential, mixed, and commercial areas. During the day, we tend to make it a little bit higher because there's activity and ambient noise around. It is measured 100 meters from the generator of the noise, wherever it is coming from. It must not exceed a certain amount of decibel during the day, 54 decibels during the day, and 82 at night in residential areas. In commercial areas where there's manufacturing and there's a market, and it's higher, 62 to 90. In mixed areas, it's in between both. But for Christmas now, we would have to tweak it a little. However, still be conscious of not harming other people with noise pollution. There's something called an oil and fat trap. They separate oil and fat from water before discharging, because if you discharge oil and fat, for example, into a small canal in a cold period, everything solidifies, and some of the microorganisms under don't get oxygen. They all die. So we all have a role to play, and the most simple of all is reuse, reduce, recycle. In this agency, single-use plastics are not allowed, single-use bottles are not allowed. So instead of collecting nylon bag every day we go to the market, get a bag and take it with you, so we can all recycle, reuse, even clothes. Everybody's waste is somebody's raw material. Vegetal waste, for example, instead of putting it in the dustbin for maggots, use it as compost. Have a garden at the back of your house. In La Cepa here, we have a nursery. Every food waste is collected and used to make compost for our nurseries. Paper, there are people who buy shredded paper. That's called recycling. For big organizations, put your paper together, and Google is your friend, Instagram is your friend. They will come to you for a fee and pick it up. And that is how you can join the government in fighting this war against global warming and climate change.
So tell us about the COP27.
So in November, world leaders all over the world, including President of the United States, everyone that signed that convention to net zero, they all gathered together, and anyone working in the environment, we gather with them. It's called Conference of Parties, and 27 means that's the 27th International Summit, where we all come and share ideas and make a pitch to prospective funders, donors, grant givers, businessmen, and say, come to Lagos, we have space for you. And I'm very excited to say this last COP27, we signed about 4 agreements with funding agencies. We signed bilateral agreements. There are many manufacturers coming into our free trade zone to increase entrepreneurship and the GDP of Lagos State just by attending that conference. And in the end, it's all about protecting the environment. We would not say you want to come and start burning firewood, but it will give us money. Come, no. Our ethos here in Lagos State is people, planet, profitability, and sustainability. Is it good for the people? Is it good for the planet? Is it profitable? And is it sustainable? If the answer to all of this is yes, then come. And we got a lot of yeses and a lot of agreements signed. The governor gave a remarkable speech. The governor made a remarkable pitch, and the team were able to get partnerships which we will all soon start to see in Lagos State and the rest of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, the General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, for spending quality time with us on the program Greater Lagos.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself.
Greater Lagos.
Because there is no good health without a good environment, it is imperative that we support the various campaigns by LASEPA by imbibing friendly environmental practices such as recycling plastics, embrace cooking gas as against other methods, proper disposal of waste. The time is now to stop vicious, unhealthy environmental practices. That's all we have on this week's episode. Till we come your way at the same time next week, I remain Lucy Ulugbe. Bye-bye.
Greater Lagos. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe ni.